Beneath your thoughts, a forest of neurons pulses in silence. This is where fear once grew, and where it may yet dissolve. Your brain is not fixed. It shifts like seasons, rewiring with time. Tonight, we walk into this inner wilderness and listen for change. Close your eyes. Let your breath soften like evening light through trees. In the hush of your body's rhythms, heartbeat, breath, stillness, something quieter begins to emerge. Not in words, not in thoughts, but in something older, sensation. The hum beneath awareness, the pulse of your living brain. Inside you, there is a forest. Not of trees or leaves, but of branching cells, neurons that reach and stretch and shimmer with quiet electricity. They speak in sparks. They light up when you remember something, when you listen, when you hope, when you fear. And though you cannot see them, they shape your every experience. This forest is not static. It is alive, growing and changing with you. Pathways form where you travel often. When you repeat a thought, feel an emotion, move a certain way. The more a path is used, the clearer it becomes. The less it's used, the more it fades, like a trail lost to moss and time. You may think of your brain as a machine, fixed, hardwired, preset, but it isn't. It is closer to a meadow after rain, software mutable, waiting for impressions. This is neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change, not just in childhood, but throughout life. Even now, even tonight, imagine the flicker of fireflies between the trees, each one a tiny burst of communication between neurons. As they flash, they build bridges. Some are old and worn, used for years. Others are new, forming as you think something different, feel something unexpected. This is how change begins, in flashes, in whispers, in patient repetition. You were not born with fear. It grew, like ivy climbing a tree. Some fear was useful, ancient, designed to keep you safe, but not all fear is wise. Some of it is outdated, looping like an old film that no longer makes sense. Still, your brain may replay it, simply because the path is familiar. What if instead you could offer your brain a new direction? Not through force, but invitation. A clearing in the forest. A quiet breath in the middle of reaction. A moment of safety, noticed and repeated, again and again, until it becomes a trail of its own. Neuroplasticity is not instant. It is not a switch you flip, but a process you nurture. Like training vines to grow along a new path. At first, the old trail will call to you. Fear will try to return you to what's familiar. But with time, the new path becomes easier, smoother, natural. Feel your body now, its warmth, its weight, the way it rests. This calm is not accidental. It is the result of signals between your brain and your body. When your breath slows, your nervous system responds. Cortisol eases, heart rate drops, and slowly, the forest shifts. Inside you, cells notice this. Calm. They encode it. They begin to learn, this is safety, this is peace. The more they recognize it, the more they recreate it. Not as a temporary feeling, but as a state your body remembers. In the quiet, you may sense a flicker of curiosity. If your brain can change, if the forest can regrow, then perhaps fear does not own you. Perhaps it is only one part of the terrain, and perhaps there are other paths, softer, steadier ones, waiting to be walked. There are stories etched into your neurons. Some are old, carved by repetition. Others are newer, uncertain, still forming. The story of fear is one among many, but tonight you glimpse another story taking shape. A story of presence, a story of choice. Imagine walking through this inner forest with lantern light in your hand. You are not lost, you are exploring. Each breath, each moment of noticing is like laying down a new stone beneath your feet. The path is yours to build, not all at once, but gently, over time. There is no rush. The forest doesn't hurry to grow. Neurons shift slowly, over days and nights, over thoughts and silences. Change happens in the pauses,
in the space between effort and rest. Even now, while you lie still, your brain is quietly listening, learning. You do not need to control every thought. You do not need to force anything to happen. Your only task is to notice, to breathe, to trust that even the smallest change, the tiniest flicker, can begin something new. This forest inside you knows how to heal. Given light, time, and attention, it reshapes itself. Old fear pathways soften like worn earth after rain. New ones bloom with each moment of calm. You are not broken, you are becoming. And though you cannot see the changes right away, they are there, deep beneath the surface, like roots shifting beneath spring soil, like stars moving behind clouds. Let this image stay with you as you drift. The idea that your mind, too, is a living thing, not a fixed cage, but a garden, capable of growing new thoughts, new reactions, new peace. Tomorrow, we'll step deeper into this terrain. We'll listen for the voice of fear itself and ask with gentleness what it's really trying to say. Fear is not just a feeling, but a signal in your nervous system. It arises from ancient circuits, shaped by survival and memory. By observing fear gently, you learn it is not your enemy. You are not broken. You are wired to survive and to adapt. Fear begins quietly, not as a scream, but as a shift. Your breath shortens, your shoulders rise, your heart, that steady companion, taps just a little faster. Before you think, before you speak, your body already knows. Fear is not a flaw, it is a message, an ancient system older than words, designed to keep you safe. It hums from deep within your brain, from places built long before cities, long before language, from a time when survival depended on noticing the snap of a twig, the flash of movement in the
dark. At the heart of this system is your amygdala, a small almond-shaped cluster buried in the center of your brain. It doesn't reason or reflect, it reacts. Quickly, instinctively, it senses danger before you do and sounds the alarm. Your amygdala doesn't wait for your permission. It acts first, asks questions later. It sends signals down into your body, tightening muscles, widening eyes, releasing adrenaline, preparing you to run, to freeze, or to fight. And sometimes, often, that alarm is helpful. It's what makes you jump out of the way of a car, what steadies your hands in crisis, what sharpens your senses when something's not quite right. Fear can save you, but fear can also linger. It can mistake memory for threat. It can hold on long after the danger has passed, reacting not to this moment, but to a shadow of moments long gone. And because the amygdala can't tell time, it often brings the past into the present. You feel it when your heart pounds before a conversation, when you tense up walking into a room, when you avoid something, not because it's dangerous, but because it once was. Fear makes maps, and sometimes those maps are outdated. But here is the gentle truth. Fear is trying to protect you, even when it misfires. Even when it feels too loud, too sharp, too much. It's not trying to harm you, it's trying to keep you from harm. Let that sink in for a moment. Fear is not a punishment. It is not weakness. It is care, misplaced. It is protection, unrefined. Imagine a smoke alarm in a quiet house. Sometimes it sounds when you burn toast. Sometimes it wakes you for no reason at all. But you wouldn't smash the alarm. You'd check it. You'd breathe. You'd recalibrate. Your fear works the same way. It needs attention, not aggression. Curiosity, not control. So tonight, you listen. You feel the tension where it lives. Maybe in your chest, your stomach, your throat. You place your attention there like warm hands. You say without words, I see you, I hear you, and we're okay. As your awareness grows, something shifts. You begin to separate the signal from the story. The sensation of fear may rise, heart racing, muscles tightening. But the story that follows, I'm not safe, I can't handle this, something will go wrong. That story can soften because fear is a body response, not a prophecy. It is a pattern, not a prison. And like all patterns, it can be unlearned. not erased, but rewritten, slowly, gently, over time. You begin to notice when fear appears. You don't fight it. You don't feed it. You sit beside it. Like a child scared of thunder, you offer presence, stillness, breath. This is how healing begins, not in pushing fear away, but in making space for it. In teaching your body, moment by moment, you're allowed to feel this, and you're allowed to feel safe. Fear doesn't vanish overnight, but your relationship to it can change. From resistance to awareness, from panic to presence, from battle to quiet understanding, your nervous system is not rigid. It's more like water than stone. It flows, reacts, settles, adapts. And when you bring calm to it, through breath, rest, kindness, you show it something new. You show it that not every alarm is danger. And over time, the alarms quiet. The body relearns what safety feels like. Not the absence of threat, but the presence of peace. So now feel your breath again. Let it fall like waves on the shore, in and out. No rush, no effort, just rhythm. Each breath is a signal, each exhale a message. You are safe, you are here, you are listening. And this listening becomes your practice. This gentle attention to body, to fear, to stillness is how you begin to shift. Not by erasing fear, but by reintroducing calm into the spaces where fear once lived alone. Tonight, you are not erasing the past. You are making room for something new, a new response, a new pattern, a new sense of what it means to feel safe in your own mind. Fear was once your only guide, but now another voice is beginning to emerge, quieter, slower, more deliberate. A voice that can speak alongside fear, a voice that can pause and choose. And where does that voice come from? Where does this calm, curious presence live inside you? We'll go there next, to the softest part of your brain, the part that watches, reasons, and learns to rewire. We'll go next to where your thoughts begin to reshape the forest. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to change, even in sleep. Like rivers carving new paths, thoughts shape neural landscapes. Your mind is not a stone tablet, but soft clay in motion. Change is not instant, but it is always possible. There is something quietly astonishing happening inside you, not just now, but always. Your brain is not a finished sculpture, locked in its final form. It is a living system, flowing, rewiring, reshaping itself from moment to moment. This is neuroplasticity, the brain's capacity to change its connections, to form new patterns, to soften old ones, to adapt not just in childhood, but across your whole life. Even now, even here, as you rest, picture a soft river delta. Water moves through it, carving gentle grooves into the land. Some channels are deep, formed by years of repetition. Others are shallow, new, uncertain, just beginning. This is what your neural pathways are like, the grooves shaped by thought, feeling, and experience. When you repeat a thought, when you revisit a memory, when you practice a skill, you reinforce the flow in a particular channel. Neurons that fire together begin to wire together. Over time, the brain makes it easier to travel that path again. This is why habits feel automatic, why you sometimes react before you think, why fear can feel like gravity, pulling you into its orbit without asking. It's not weakness, it's just well-worn circuitry. But this too is where the possibility lives. Because the same process that built those fearful pathways can also build calmer ones. New thoughts, new patterns, new reactions, they can become your new riverbeds if you guide the water with patience. You are never stuck. Even the deepest grooves can be softened with time. The key is gentle, repeated effort, a soft rhythm of attention and choice. Neuroplasticity isn't about erasing, it's about redirecting. You don't need to tear down the forest. You only need to walk a new path again and again until it begins to form under your feet.
The brain rewires through use, not force. And it responds best to consistency, not urgency. This means that every small moment of awareness, every pause before reacting, every breath taken consciously, every gentle response to fear is a quiet act of rewiring. Even when it feels like nothing's changing, something is. Beneath awareness, neurons are adjusting. Tiny synapses, the spaces where cells speak to each other, are strengthening, weakening, reconnecting. Some of this happens while you're awake. Much of it happens while you sleep. In the silent hours of rest, your brain replays the day's experiences. It decides what to keep, what to let go, what to reinforce. Your dreams may be strange, but your brain is busy, sorting, shaping, tending. This is why rest is not passive, it is essential. Sleep gives your brain space to reorganize, to prune unnecessary connections and build new ones, to clear out what no longer serves and plant the seeds of change. As you breathe now, slowly, steadily, you are already participating in this process. Your nervous system begins to calm. Stress hormones ease. Your brain receives a signal. This is safety. Let's grow from here. Neuroplasticity is a kind of learning, but not the kind that requires effort or struggle. It is the learning that happens through rhythm, attention, and care, like practicing an instrument, like tending a garden, like rocking gently to sleep. Your thoughts matter. Not because every single one reshapes you, but because patterns do. When you return again and again to a new idea, that you are safe, that you are capable of change, that you are not defined by fear, you begin to build something lasting. It doesn't mean the old paths vanish immediately. They may still appear, especially under stress, but with time, they lose their strength. They become echoes. You learn to walk around them. Some days you may find yourself back on familiar ground, reactive, afraid, overwhelmed. This does not mean you have failed. It means your brain remembered an old path. But now you know another route too. So gently, without judgment, you guide yourself back. To breath, to stillness, to the understanding that change is not linear. It spirals, it returns, it deepens. Picture your brain like a vast hillside. Rain falls and creates rivulets. Wherever the water flows most, the grooves deepen. You cannot stop the rain, but you can shift the land, little by little, until the water chooses new routes. And you are not alone in this. Your body supports your change. Every time you slow your breath, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode. It signals safety to your brain. It creates fertile ground for new wiring. Even your thoughts become tools. When you speak kindly to yourself, when you pause to notice beauty, when you remind yourself that fear is not truth, you are planting new connections. At first, these new paths feel uncertain, like walking through tall grass where no trail yet exists. But step by step, the ground clears, and soon the way feels familiar. Not because it always was, but because you made it so. This is how people heal. This is how they grow. Not all at once, not in straight lines, but through quiet, repeated moments of choosing a new direction. Through offering themselves the one thing fear forgets to give, a sense of safety that is steady and real. Tonight, you are choosing that direction, simply by listening, by noticing the landscape within you, by remembering that change is not a destination, but a way of walking. Your brain listens. It listens to where you place your focus. It listens to your breath, your rest, your attention. And in this listening, it begins to rewire itself, softly, quietly, unseen, but not unfelt. And now, as you lie here in stillness, you may begin to wonder, what happens when fear takes center stage? What part of you rises first? What voice rings loudest in the forest of your mind? That voice belongs to something small, yet powerful, something ancient,
something that once kept your ancestors alive. Tomorrow, we'll go there, to meet the quiet roar at the center of your fear, your amygdala, and the signals it sends when it believes you're not safe.